since we started recording in January 2007, it's been 3 years. There's been like a lot of different states of mind and a lot of different sources of inspiration coming in and going throughout the process, and we weren't able to finish any songs. Like I just kept writing new ones all the time, because I got bored with the ones that we were working on. As soon as I got bored, I started writing new ones. There's not like, there hasn't been one state of mind, but several. And when we decided to finish the album, because we couldn't keep on just making new songs all the time. In the beginning of last autumn, we had 120 songs or so, and none of them were finished, except the ones that we had already released, like David and Freddie, which was too old by then to be included on the album. And we decided that we can't keep on just making new songs all the time. We have to finish this. We have to wrap it up. So then we took like the 10 to 12 songs that were on the lists at the moment and decided to finish them, and decided that was the album, and that was just, you know, the 10 to 12 songs that we at the moment weren't bored with, because we tend to get bored pretty quickly, unfortunately. But we also thought that they would make a good whole, you know, a good album. And we'd been working like for ages, and we were really tired. So we took a break, and it's a really, really nice feeling to finally be done and to be able to move on with new songs. And I don't think we'll go back and finish hardly any of the songs that we've been working on throughout this process. We're too fed up with it. We just want to move on now. If I get the opportunity to think too much about the songs, I find them embarrassing, and I don't want to release the band that I had back in '95. We should change our bio on the webpage, I guess. But it was another band that I had with a friend, a goofy band I had when I was 15. And then when I started this band with Martin, which wasn't really serious until 2001, we just took that name. So it's a different band, but yeah. The way we see ourselves as a band is that this sounds really cocky, but either we're not a real band, you know, we're just maybe faking it or whatever. We just make songs. We're not a band really. Or we're one of the few real bands around. Doesn't sound too good. I hate cocky bands myself. That whole rock thing is not us. I like to listen to music while traveling, you know, sitting in a car at night and just I don't drive myself, so I don't have to take like any safety responsibilities or anything. So just listening to music and watching like the city pass by outside the window. That's a great thing. And I mean, yeah, maybe that's what we're doing. Maybe we're creating like travel music. I don't know. It was just one song, and I mean, there are other political lyrics. They're more subtle than Freddie, which is quite, you know, quite outspoken and satirical. But yeah, maybe the point at one point we were, you know, trying to make like a political album, but we dropped that idea some time ago. There will be a new single, hopefully, after summer, like, not from the album, but a new one, which is another attempt at overthrowing the Swedish government. We're going to go on tour, and as soon as possible, make a new album again. And hopefully it won't take 3 to 4 years this time. Hopefully we'll be able to put out a new record, I mean, in a year or so. I think we're part of it. I love the Embassy from Gothenburg. I really like Studio, for example, and there are other bands. There's a label in Stockholm called Friendly Noise, which is good. But then there's all these other bands and labels that I have a hard time. I don't identify with, like Labrador, for instance. It's just the label that puts out our music. I don't want to talk badly about or backstab any Swedish bands, but it's just not my cup of tea. I like a small fragment of what's referred to as Swedish indie, and the rest of it is like every other scene or anything, like 10%, or if that, maybe 5% is good, and the rest is just horrible. A key ingredient to be able to make good music is to have confidence. Denmark, for example, doesn't have that confidence that Sweden has, and that's why they don't produce very many good bands. I discovered M83 when we had released our first album. They had this album called Dead Cities, Lost Ghosts, whatever, something like that. I don't know. I was really into that album then, back in 2003, but I haven't followed them since. And I hardly ever listen to shoegaze music anymore. I don't think I ever really did. I love My Bloody Valentine, and some more obscure bands. I really liked the Sweetest Ache single on Sarah Records called If I Could Shine, and I mean, but I've never been like a hardcore shoegaze fan or anything. I just we were really into distortion and distorted sounds back then, and this whole dreamy thing. But we've never considered ourselves to be shoegazers in any way. We're a pop group. Yeah, I just bought a record here. Maybe you can. Desire. That's a good band. I've been listening to this track, Don't Call, a lot. It's so good. I've heard one or two tracks apart from that one, but I haven't heard the whole album yet. But I'm sure it's fantastic. Yeah. If it's anything like Don't Call, it's bound to be great. Last autumn I was really impressed with the whole new kind of wave of American indie bands that didn't sound like, all those rock bands they had in the beginning of the decade, but like Washed Out and this band and Best Coast and all of those bands. But now I'm getting kind of fed up. I mean, they're good. They're all good, but everyone's talking about them, so why should I?